What's up? Reefer in the building. Okay. Cool. It's a little instrument I built. There's a thing called beat surfing. It allows you to build your own little sample player, you know. It's kind of sick. You're supposed to be able to slide your finger back and forth like a rhythm. But I haven't used this in so many years that, because I think I had this ever since the first iPad came out. You know? Let me see. All right, the echo. I hope the echo ain't too bad. I'm still trying to work that out. 1 2 1 2. Let's see. I'm just experimenting. If a few people come in the room, then we can act a fool and let the beatings begin. Where's those sounds coming from? Yeah, hang out in the studio with his lordship. We chillin'. Where that sound come from? Let me see. Do, do. Yeah, studio session with his lordship, you know, late night. This not nobody intro, I'm just messing around. I haven't, like I said, this is beat surfing. It came out back in the day with the first iPad. It probably got updated since then. Matter of fact, I'm using the first iPad to do this. It's 2 3 and 5 6 7 8. What's up? Oh, my chat must be messed up. Oh no, that's another chat I'm looking at. All right, here we go. 2. Well, first of all, I can't even see what I'm doing. I need some, there you go. Aha. How many bars we got here? Don't look like many bars. Now, 16 bars right there. Make it loop. And this is my instrument right here. I call it plethora. Plethora. Okay. Whoops. See. Oh, that was what was that? That was 9 bars. Let's see. I mean, that was 8 bars. Somebody walked in the door. I thought I heard the door creak open. Street now. Hey, what's up? Yeah, you opened up the studio and the hip hop connoisseurs will walk through the door. What's up, Street? I'm glad you came out tonight. You know, I'm gonna do some other stuff, but I thought I'd play around with this beat surfing until, you know, a few people walk in. You know, if I can get 6 people, then, you know, we'll move on to the other stuff. Yeah, let me see. Street knowledge in the building. Reefer in the building. Let's see. That sound like some Steve Spacek. Steve Spacek. Look him up. His albums was going for $25 a pop. He had his own clothing, everything. His 3rd album was called High Tech Vintage. Now, how can we take something this simple that I made with my instrument, the Plethora, from the Beat Surfer app for the first original iPad? How can we flip that one little 8 bars? Well, we do have other notes. That could be like, you know, if I wanted to have a switch up like a chorus or some shit, you know. But I'm just trying to put a little groove together. And now this one little beat. I'm using Ableton Live 10 intro. In case anybody wants to know, I've been using Ableton Live since version 4. So this is version 10. So this lets you know how long I've been using it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw in a little beat repeat, and it says, one says fill in the gap, the other one says microfill. I'm gonna use fill in the gap. See what that sound like. If it don't sound right, we'll make some adjustments. Oh. sounds like there's a little mistake there where my finger slipped or something. Right, right, right there. See there? Delete and stretch. Let me see. There we go. That little skip part is out of there. Now, I want to separate. This is all one drum kit, but in order for me to really work with this, I need to separate that melody. I need to create another kit. I need to separate that melody from the rest. So this sample kit got food. I don't even know how many samples it got. So I just made a duplicate. It took a second because it's so much. So I just duplicated that whole channel. Now I'm finna erase the drums from one of the channels. All right. Now we just got the melody line. I'm gonna mute that channel and just play that channel here. There we go. Now, you know, in this business, I learned that fresh ideas are hard to come by. Fresh ideas. So I'm just doing some extra stuff just to show how you can develop the most simplest idea by experimenting and playing around. And then the next thing you know, you have a fresh idea. So what I'm gonna do with this, you know, when they was advertising Ableton Live, I was offended. I get offended easily, because when they wanted to market this software to black people, they got DJ Jazzy Jeff. Now, DJ Jazzy Jeff is a great DJ, possibly a great producer, but you don't have to know how to be a producer. You don't have to know how to use a sampler. You don't have to know how to program a drum machine. You don't have to know how to use Cubase or the mixing board. A producer just calls the shots. So anyway, Ableton Live is very diverse, right? So when they showed the other capabilities that was kind of more intellectual, they showed like a European, they showed some white cats and stuff. And then to push the hip hop, the ability, you know, that hip hop artists can use it too, they got in Jazzy Jeff. Now, you got to really look at the set. See, when you first get the software, they give you they give you some free stuff and they give you like some commercials to look at. And they're online, you can find them. So anyway, Jazzy Jeff was sitting at his desk and he had his computer on, he had his mouse, and he had a machine off in the distance, and you couldn't see no logos or anything, but you could tell it was an MPC. So that meant that they were trying to persuade, what's up, Bright Street, in the building. We're going to be, it's a short live, we're going to be all over the place, but I just got through beat surfing. If you didn't see it, you can always hit the rewind button, but but beat surfing is cool. Let me see. Uh, Let me turn the sound back on. You know, beat surfing. You can come up with some great ideas, change the sounds and instruments, you know. So anyway, we came up with this little drum beat here. Well, we came up with this whole little groove, and I'm finna transform it from a simple, small, tiny idea. We're gonna turn it into somewhat of a production. It's all a total, it's total experiment. But I just want to show you what you could do with Ableton Live, because like I said, when they were using Jazzy Jeff to promote this to black people, now I could be assuming, I'm sure when they showed the white guys doing the other stuff with the software that they know black guys is looking like, oh, this is, I can use that, you know. But they wanted to make sure that they targeted the people who like to use the MPC and Pro Tools and stuff like that. Because most people, not all, but most people that use the MPC only think of software as a replacement for the 2-inch tape. You see what I'm saying? They never think of software as the full production. They think of it maybe as the icing on the cake or something to master with. And they spent 10 years mastering the MPC, and you know, they might even spent their last dime on the MPC and some speakers and stuff, you know. And so in their room, I've seen it, in their room they got speakers that you would use at a party, at a banquet, and they might have some monitors, but they're not the proper size for the room, and the room is not padded to keep the sound from bouncing off the walls. And I've even seen guys who record vocals right by their speakers, even Carbonation. And then when I mentioned that, I think they stopped. But you have a condenser mic, and you're in the same room as your speakers. Well, they're not even speakers, monitors. But people who don't know this stuff, they would call them speakers. And so they were using. Oh yeah, it's sick, huh? But I made this instrument. It's called the Plethora, and I used the beat surfing software to do it. And the guy who invented it is pretty dope. He's a pretty dope live performer, and it's you see what I'm saying? I can change those sounds, and I can just swing my finger back and forth and make a whole little groove and record it. So what I did do is from beat surfing, I did this. And I had added a plugin called Beat Repeat or something like that. And so anyway, Jazzy Jeff, in the commercial for Ableton Live, Jazzy Jeff was sitting behind the desk, and he was trying to tell you that it's easier to use Ableton Live to flip a sample than it is in the MPC. He said all you got to do is have a groove, have a song, the part that you want, right click it, and it'll automatically divide that song into parts. It can divide it up to 128 samples. And if you have the Ableton Push, you have enough pads to cover that, unless you use your own custom controller, touchpad, or whatever like that. And but I was offended because like he had the MPC over there, and you know they could get sued, so you couldn't tell, but you could tell. You know what I'm saying? And then he right clicked and dropped the samples and made a quick groove, and I said, that's cool, but Jazzy has been in the game long enough to have advanced more than just cutting a sample to flip it for a beat. I mean, I've seen Teddy Riley do Cubase ads and New Window ads, and it was more advanced than that. And then, so the other guys, the Europeans and the white boys, there were moments when they wasn't even behind the computer. It was one guy who was just standing in front of a building, and they were showing graphics of the other plugins. I guess plugins that black people don't use. He was using all the other plugins. How amazing, you know! Like when they showed Jazzy Jeff, it was like very simple, you know, straight to the point. You can flip a sample like this. You can just right click, and you ain't got to worry about doing all that shit, you know, on the hardware. And that was it. But when it came to the other guys, it was this whole photo montage, and you seen the plugins operating the multi-band compressor and the this and the that. And I said, why they couldn't present Jazzy that complicated? See, they thought they think hip hop producers are simple, and they think that it would have scared them from using the software. So I see their logic. They put the hardware in the background, and then they had him use the computer, and he's an OG, and they want you to go, well, damn, if Jazzy old ass can do it, and all you gotta do is right click, and you got your sounds. You know what I'm saying? But I got a friend who bought the Renaissance, the Akai Renaissance, and he's the master of the Akai MPC. He had a 2000. My other friend had a 3000. And before I go on, let me see what you're saying. Oh, right on. So, you know, I had a rhythm workstation that did not sample. I used that for a long time, and then I bought a keyboard sampler from the same name brand and connected them through MIDI. Using the MIDI interface, I actually used a Roland MC50 MIDI interface or MIDI recorder that used computer 3.5 disc just as a memory card. And I had a Korg DSS-1 sampling synthesizer that weighed a ton from Japan, and then I had the Korg S3 for the workstation. But my friends, they had the ASR 10s, and they had the Akai MPC. So my friend tried to graduate from the hardware because he was using. You know what's weird is I never really labeled myself to just being a hip hop producer. So I didn't have the restraints. I didn't have I didn't have to worry about people not thinking that this was a hip hop beat or something they can rap to. I would say not every beat I make is for a rap song. But my other friends, they would crank out, 4 or 5 tracks a week, and they're all head nodders, head bangers. You know what I'm saying? Just rocking beats. They just manufacturing them beats. They wasn't really selling them, but they might have sold some. They made songs. They performed here, but they was the type that'll make a record, take it to the club, and if people don't go crazy, they go back to the club, and they would find investors to make another record, and they would enter beat competitions, and they would, but they would never try to get under the hood, like get more technical with their machine. Like me, I used to read my manual over and over in case I missed something. I would keep reading the manual, and we didn't have YouTube with other people giving tips and tricks like that. And matter of fact, any kind of tutorial material was going to cost a lot of money. Just for a few samples, a sample CD was going to cost you $100. But all of that's changed now. But once the resource material became available from overseas, I was paying $9, $17, and $32 for magazines that helped me get better. And I was buying the magazines when I didn't even have a computer or software. I just had a couple of hardware trinkets, and I was recording straight to DAT, a portable recorder that that the battery only lasts a few minutes, and it was $800. It was my friend's. I broke it. But before that, I was recording to a reel-to-reel, because since I was recording to cassette, I might as well master on tape and then bounce it to cassette. That way, every time I make a tape, it was always clean. And that's the habits I kept. I kept trying to have a clean sound, and when I didn't have a clean sound, it was on purpose. So anyway, my point was, these companies are from out the country, and all they have is what they see on the surface with American producers. And American producers, sometimes they work so hard to get their equipment that when something else comes along, they go, "Oh hell no, I'm not spending no more money. I had to rob Peter to pay Paul just to get what I got, and now I'm good at using it. And then you're gonna tell me this shit is obsolete? Oh no, it ain't really obsolete, but there's things that you could have done. Like if you're using Pro Tools or whatever, and you don't have special analog to digital converter setup, which is expensive, then when you recording into Cubase or Logic or Pro Tools with your hardware, you're recording digital to analog to digital. You see what I'm saying? And that's if you got an MPC like a 3000, a 4000, even a 2000. But I mean, now they got other ones, 1000, this and that. But they also got a touchscreen MPC, which is totally against what what was so great about the MPC. It had something under there, under the hardware. And anyway, research, man. I mean, people in Japan customize their MPCs. They customize the pads, the plates, all kind of stuff, My friends used to carry their MPCs in suitcases. They could go over each other's studio and shit, and you thinking they got luggage in this fucking MPC in a suitcase. So my friend, he bought the Machina MK2 and the Renaissance. He was too intimidated by the Native Instrument MK2, so he gave it to a friend. And I'm like, you could have gave that shit to me. And he tried to mess around with the Renaissance, but he was frustrated that he couldn't hook his turntable directly to the controller. And I was like, well, shit, you went from using a hardware that has a limited resolution. Now you're using a computer with a controller that's a replica of the hardware. So there's no way you should be able to hook anything into the controller unless they're just trying to be cute. So anyway, let's get back to this. I made that little groove, I played it. Now I separated the melody. I separated the melody from the drum beat by making a duplicate and erasing the drum sounds, because it's MIDI with sampled sound. All of this is MIDI with sampled sound. So now I don't know. See, let's say I'm a musician, but I don't know everything, and I only know the instrument I was raised on and stuff like that. But I know if a song is in key, I know pitches and stuff like that. And when I play piano, I will use something to eliminate the wrong notes by setting the key of the song. If I don't know it, I will look it up, and then I would drag a plug in, and then I would set it to B flat or C sharp or E or F or whatever. And then when I improvise on the piano, I try to play like I'm Duke Ellington or somebody. You know, I've listened to Herbie and different people, so I try to catch the flavor of real piano players, and it's not cheating because that's just what you can do today, you know. And the only reason they didn't sample before the sampler was invented is because the technology didn't exist. And I have proof of this because when a famous gold uh, uh, a musician came over who album made gold platinum before. Matter of fact, they're considered one of the greatest R&B groups that's still alive today. Um, the bass player, guitar player, came to the studio to hang out with us little hip hop peons, right? Because he's hella cool like that. And he he sat there and he said, instead of him making up his own bass line for the rap track we made, he said, I'm barbecuing at home, so um, so he got a house full of people. His house is his studio house has a 2-level studio house, and when Destiny Child was working on their first album, they were actually staying there with him, and this was in the hood too, near Marcus Garvey's old house. But anyway, um, he said, "Which one do you want?" And I said to myself, "Which one? What is he talking about?" He was saying, "Which bass line do you want?" He knew everybody's bass line, Parliament, you name it, because he come from a time where you didn't have samplers, so you had to have musicians to play, and he said which one you want, and then so the melody line. I played the song on my show before. The melody line sounded like his band style, and it was cool. It was real cool. It was. I didn't care if the record made it. It wasn't my song. It wasn't my record. I was just on it doing spoken word or whatever. But just the experience and to see how they roll. And he said, don't send this to my record label. Don't send it to the label that I'm on. Don't let them know about it because they would charge you $50,000 for this, or they would take the song. I said, damn. So that whole thing was a learning experience. And he got up and left. He didn't wait on the mix. He didn't wait to see what it was about. I said, damn, this was cool. Only in my city some shit like that can happen. What's up, Street Knowledge? It's about time for me to get another one for the new year. Okay, it's all good. Now, Jodeci don't live out here. What's up, Notorious B? In the building. So I was beat surfing, and that's what this thing is on the bottom level. This is actually the first iPad that came out, and there's an app called Beat Surfer, and I just used it to come up with a little beat and a little melody. And then I made it. This is all MIDI and samples. So then I duplicated the channel so I could separate the melody from the drums because all the sounds was on the same sampler. Now, my my YouTube studio thing just spazzed out, so I don't even know if y'all can still hear me. Okay, y'all can still hear me. So anyway, now that I've separated the two channels, I erased the drum beats from one channel and left the melody, and then the other channel, I got to erase the uh, the melody. So so here we are. This is the MIDI stuff right here, and the melody is at the top, so that's easy. Just deleted that. So now we just got the drum beat. Yeah, I like the flexibility of Ableton. I only use Cubase, Ableton, Reason, and then some nerdy stuff that I won't name that they don't expect people of brown skin to use. You know what I'm saying? So now, the reason why I brought up the musicianship, because Ableton allows you to use Ableton whether you have a musical background or not. So these chords, I can't hear these chords and tell you what they are, right? But I can always use a tuner on my phone, and the tuner would tell me what chord it is, and then I can write it down, and then I can find, I can recreate the chord or whatever. But I'm gonna do something different. This is a sample, so this is not sampled off a record. These are individual chord samples that I made a melody with using the Beat Surfer. So I'm gonna show you that you can still produce without being classically trained on the piano and all that stuff. And you go, well, look, I like this melody and this drums, right? Right? I like this. But now I'm like, since it's all MIDI and samples, I don't have to be satisfied with the sounds. You see what I'm saying? But the idea is there. And I realized when I went over Marcel's East house a long time ago, whose brother is Nathan East. I'll name drop them too. I can't name drop the other person, but when we were jamming on his equipment in his studio, which was kind of disrespectful, he walked over to the side and hit a record button and just recorded all that terrible jamming that people was doing. It sounded like a bunch of noise, people trying to make their own melody on different keyboards and stuff. But he was recording it. You know why? Because there's an idea in there. And all that terrible musicianship, there may be an idea there. And he went to school to learn how to compose music. He could listen to any radio any song on the radio and write the music down just from listening. He could write all the parts out. And he would go to this convention in France every year, and he could sell the songs to people out there, like maybe somebody in India or Istanbul. Like somebody in Istanbul wants a Babyface track and they want to sing in their language over the Babyface track. Well, he can fly out there, go in the studio, lay it down, write down other parts, produce the track. And he made his contacts. Every year he made contacts by going to this convention in France called Meetum. And this is what I'm saying. People waste time at the South by Southwest. It's been infiltrated. It's just a corporate event. They throw in some independent artists. They keep some independent artists around to make it look legit, but it's all corporate sponsored. Major labels put their artists in there. They give their artists some kind of deal so they can still look you in the eye and say, well, this is my label. I just got, backing, and so we're gonna do this and that. But it ain't fair. It ain't fair. And then the Winter Music Fest is just a fucking freak fest party. It's a bunch of posers, and it's it's more of a in crowd type of thing. And all you do is party, get high, pass out your flyers for your new project, and do a few seminars and here and there, and you go back home. Complete waste of time. But when you go to Meetum in Cannes, France, if you a black music producer or a black filmmaker, you got to go to the Needham Music Festival if you're a DJ or whatever. And if you're a filmmaker, you got to go to the Cannes Film Festival. And that's why uh, the lady that played in that movie that refused to go, that said that Netflix didn't want to pay her what she was worth. But when she denied going to the Cannes Film Festival to help promote that movie that she got an Oscar for, that showed her deepest ignorance, and that showed that she was not a actress. Because every actor knows that you got to go to the Cannes Film Festival. There's no film festival in America that's on that level. Because I say this all the time, Boys in the Hood got a 5-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. So if you're a distribution company and you own the AMC theaters or the such and such theaters on the West Coast, or the theaters in the Midwest, or theaters in the East Coast and the South, you're at the Cannes Film Festival. If you see some small film with some barely known actors in it get a standing ovation, you saying to yourself, I'm going to distribute this film in my theaters. And there might even be a bidding war. Another thing is, if you went to the festival with records, with CDs, even though we're in this digital age, if you got your digital store, I'm going to say that for the sake of argument, but hard material is still the backbone of any independent minority label. The only reason they switched to digital is because you had black people, Mexicans, Chinese, you had people making $70,000 a year still selling records. You see what I'm saying? But you come out with the digital format and you tell people, oh, that's played out, that's obsolete. We got these things called iPods. The only people that got affected was minorities. And thank God in Detroit, they invented their own music, the black people there, called techno. And every year they have a techno festival. And the record labels and the record stores and the equipment stores and the clubs, they make enough money that they can stretch to the next year. The average company would make about $30,000 during those 3 days, and they can stretch it out and flip that money to stay in business for the next festival. Yeah. So you didn't miss nothing, because you know me, I like to dog walk the main topic, but I don't have the main topic. I actually got a lot of stuff, and I wanted to make it quick. So these are samples. I'm going to convert this sample into one audio track. I'm going to freeze it now. I'm going to convert it to audio, and then convert it back to MIDI. See what I'm saying? And when I convert it back to MIDI, now I have a choice of thousands of MIDI sounds that I can use instead of those samples for that melody. You see what I'm saying? I had a feeling you left. That's why I was procrastinating and stalling and dog walking and just shooting the breeze until you got back. So now I freeze this track. Now I'm going to, what is it called? Uh-oh. And I didn't even save this. Well, okay. What just happened? Let's see. Oh, it's doing that because it's so many samples there in that sample kit drum machine. Okay, now okay. Freeze, flatten. Okay, now I'm finna flatten it. I'm converting it to audio. Hey, what's up, Intrinsic Love? You got my message in your inbox, right? I just sent you a couple of things. Uh, we just messing around in the studio. My camera just cut off. Let me cut that back on. I actually been in communications with the developer of this software that allowed my camera to work without hardly any latency, very little latency. And when I first bought it, it didn't work, and I wrote him an email saying I want my money back. And for the past 5 days, he's been emailing me back and forth, showing me how to make this software work. And that's really cool. Yeah, when you get a chance, check it out. There's a dope commercial break with Tigger. I don't know if you remember Tigger from, I think, Rap City or something like that. He's on the intro, and then there's the Cash App commercial, and I ain't gonna put your business out there, but check out the products. They're in your DM, and so now here's that melody again. It should sound exactly the same. Okay, now this was a MIDI instrument. It was just one. I duplicated the channel to make two channels with the same instruments. And then on one channel, I erased the melody, and on the other channel, I erased the drums. And then on the second channel, I created a audio file out of the MIDI. So this is it right here. This is that melody that we played on the MIDI track, and it's one long sample of the melody I created out of 4 or 5 different samples. Okay? But like I said, I don't know the names of these chords. I'm not a musician, and I'm thinking that I can use better organ sounds. I could use a Fender Rhodes sound. I could use piano sounds. I could use some vintage synthesized sounds. I don't want to be limited to only being able to use these samples, and that's why I never got that much into sampling, because you could tourniquet a sample, you could tweak a sample, but if you twist it and bend it too much, it loses quality. And then, but then they came out with some other stuff called granular synthesizing, which you use millions of fragments of a sample, which is great. So, oh, cool. Oh, it's dope. Trust me, it's dope. I feel like I'm the parent of these things, and I hate to let them go. When I make them, I like them myself. When I did Street Knowledge track, I was like, man, I don't want to give this track up. So, but you got to let it go. So now, what was MIDI? See, before everything looked like this. I'm going to stretch that up. Now you see that? Those are MIDI notes with sample sounds. Right? This is the keyboard right here. And see there? The organ sounds are probably down here. They're around here somewhere. Maybe they're down here. Let's see. There we go. So you see the sample list there. There's I didn't count them, but there's a bunch of samples there. So now the melody part was converted into one long audio, and it's limited because I could transpose it through automation and all that stuff. But unless it's an emergency situation or something, this is unnecessary. So now I converted what was MIDI into audio, and now I'm going to convert the audio back to MIDI. And I have a choice here of I can convert the melody or the harmony. So I'm going to convert the melody. And I'm almost done with this. I'm not going to get too deep with this, but this won't be the last time that I'll do a production clinic, because this is a beautiful software. And I haven't even showed you my touch screen controller for this software. I'm using a MIDI controller, but I actually have a touch screen controller where I don't even have to look up to the screen. So it's converting, it's almost done. Boom. Now, what I just made, and this takes a lot of processing power, don't get it twisted. Now, I'm going to mute the original channel. I'm going to mute the drum track. Now we got 3 tracks. We got the original track where I deleted the melody and just got the drums. We got the melody that I converted into audio and then converted back to MIDI. So now we're going to play the MIDI notes. They're going to use a default instrument to try to capture the same tone quality of the original sound. And this is how you can take sounds from a record without sampling off the record. You can convert the sounds into MIDI and use your own sounds, and now they can't say that you took the sound off the record. Okay. Now, you might say, hey, that don't sound like the original sample. Well, it sounds good enough because we're going to replace. That's just a temporary sound to just let you know that you got the sounds, you know. And if it needs key correction, you can drop a plugin in there and say, hey, I need this to be in the key of this or the key of that. So that way, if a note is not in key, it'll sound good. And that's what I'm saying, that you don't have to be a musician to work with melody and chords and stuff like that. But it's good to know it, or but it ain't going to be something that'll hold you back, especially when you use something like Ableton Live. So I'm finna go to the MIDI effects and grab a chord. I know it's late too. My bad, but I just took a break from doing production and decided to go live. So I'm adding this chord maker. Now I'm gonna play this again. There's a lot of things running on this computer, so. Yeah, I'm changing the chord. There's a plugin where you can set your own chords up. Hold on 1 second. So I'm gonna cut the chord maker off, and I'm gonna go ahead and change. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out this instrument. This instrument is a stock instrument from Ableton Live, and they do make great instruments. But I'm a big fan of third-party instruments, and also I'm a big fan now of vintage replicas. So I have a lot of replicas of vintage equipment. So let's check out the ARP 2600. This is what Stevie Wonder likes to use, as well as Herbie Hancock. And because I'm running the whole show on the same computer, it's putting a lot of stress on the system. So now we brought out one of the big players. Okay? Let's see what it sounds like now. Yeah, we brought out one of the big boys. This is what it looks like. What's going on? Wait a minute, I didn't send it to you? I know I sent it to the right one. Hold on. 1 second. Oh shit. Wait a minute. No. Oh, you mean to tell me? Nah, I sent it to the right one. You just don't, you saying you don't use that one. Oh, you talking the street. I think, right? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, cool. But I'm trying to figure out why I was trying to figure out why y'all couldn't see my keyboard. But it's all good. Look, this stuff is new to me. This is all new. All right. So now, let's see here. I'm going to pick an instrument. At first, I'm going to try to pick a pad instrument. Because you got bass, brass, keys, lead, percussion, sound effects, strings. It depends on the instrument. But this is an old vintage keyboard replica. And let's see. I'm just going to pick a random pad sound for demonstration purposes. Let me try a different one. All right, let me go to sequence. Let me see. I really need a pad sound though. Now, I think that synthesized sound from the MIDI instrument will give you more options than just using a sampled sound. And we need what we did at the beginning was just get an idea down. See, I just wanted to show the value of an idea and how you can flip an idea into something totally different and really quick. The only thing that's making this take any amount of time is because I'm using some production tricks to get that idea across. So what I'm going to do right now is set up a side chain to side chain the melody to a drum kick that you won't even hear. And this technique goes all the way back to the disco era. The engineers that produced disco music invented the side chaining technique, which you can use in almost every form of music, especially house and trance and stuff like that. And you can also use it. A lot of amateur hip hop producers think that if you want the vocals to stand out on the track, all you do is raise the volume. But what you do is you find the right frequency to place the vocals. That way it don't interfere with other frequencies, and that way you don't have to raise the volume. And also, if there's still any instruments that's in the way, you side chain the vocals to that instrument, so that instrument will go silent when the vocalist is speaking or rapping. And you do the same thing with the bass and the drum kit. A lot of times it seems like the bass and the drum kit, the kick, joins together as one sound when they both hit. But what you're supposed to do is side chain the bass to the kick. And so for that split millisecond that the kick hit, the bass is pulled away so the kick can puncture through the mix. So that's another production trick. But just a few more minutes of this, and then I'm gonna play 3 video clips or so, and then we out. But so let me go to the audio plugins. And I'm using Ableton Live. I've been using Ableton Live for many years, but I am a fan of Steinberg, Cubase, and the Window. But I'm gonna tell you, Cubase is like a Maybach. It will get you there in style, and it's like a Porsche Panamera, the 4-door with the hatchback trunk. You're gonna get there in style, safe, great sound system. You're gonna look cool, but when you're ready to do those donuts on the bridge, and thank you, Key Deadman, for sharing my videos. I know a lot of this stuff sounds French, when it comes to production or whatever. And I don't claim to be the know-it-all, but I know a few things. So I'm going to my own custom side chain. Matter of fact, later on, I'm gonna show you my own plugins and stuff that I put together. I built my own keyboard and stuff, virtual, of course. So anyway, I'm looking for one of the compressors. Compress. I'm looking for a glue compressor, maybe. I think I'm going blind. Oh, there we go. Glue compressor. I'm going to delete that duplicate channel that I made the MIDI channel out of, because that's what's slowing down the computer. It has so many samples on it. Delete. Thank you for your service. Hey, what's up? C. Wilson in the building. His Lordship is just having a production clinic. I was beat surfing earlier, so if you catch the playback, you can see what beat surfing is all about. And that's what this whole idea came from. I used beat surfing techniques to come up with a idea, and now I'm developing that idea into something. So now I need a kick sound to, I need instrument. I need a kick to trigger the compressor. But you know, that's producer talk. If this was like a class, I would go into it. But so here's the drums. I'm gonna drag that over here. This thing working slow to only give this a few more minutes. Yeah, it's too much of a drag. But what I was gonna do was I was gonna sidechain the melody to a kick that was gonna trigger the compressor to open and close. That will make a rhythm. It'll make a pattern out of the melody, and give it that pumping feeling. And then I was gonna substitute the drums that we made and bring in a drum sample, and then it was gonna be like a deep house type of track. But using all this software on one computer and using the auxiliary camera and running the camera, all these MIDI controllers, and the software and the live software is too much pressure on the computer. So we're going to quit while we're ahead. But if you wanted to catch any of this at the beginning, feel free to, later on catch the rewind. And we're gonna start the show. I'm gonna play a couple of short flicks I made yesterday while riding, and then I'm gonna go back to work in the studio. So let's see here. Yeah, I just filmed that sequence today. Isn't that beautiful? I actually lost my drone when I was filming it. I lost my. Oh, thank you, Intrinsic. And I lost my drone, and I had to find it. There's many ways of finding it. I could use GPS. I can look at the camera and point it towards the ground to see where exactly it's at. And yeah, as long as it's not on top of somebody's roof, I can always find it. It's harder to find it in the dark. I lost it in the dark one time because it's so tiny that it can go so high that you can't see it no more. And you have to use radar. But it's really cool. But those little clips I shot today, the sky was so clear I had to go out there. So let's see here. see if I can find. I filmed a couple of things in the past few days. So I just got a new chair. Now my studio feels like a real studio with the gaming office slash office chair. I got a good deal at Ross. Okay, shout out to Ross, not Rick Ross. But before we get into that, I want to show some audio from the Bonnet. The Bonnet was speaking about Muslims. What the hell she know about Muslims? Once again, she managed to offend billions of people. And when she said, hold on. When she said that her friend is Muslim, so I guess that made her an expert on the faith. When you got a Muslim friend and you can't even tell us what part of Islam this person is, like what, it ain't like there's this Islam. You know what I'm saying? Like there's different parts, it's minority groups and stuff like that. Even some people would even consider cult groups. And but she always assume what she think the audience knows, and that's, you will always look stupid assuming what you think the audience knows. How could you? Where I'm not. I'm just saying. How could you assume? Is where she from? Is it that diverse? Because where I live is super diverse, super, and you still can't stereotype a group. But where I live, it has the largest Indian population outside of India nearby. The largest Sikh Muslim population. The largest lesbian Polynesian population. I swear to God, it's something in the water in East Palo Alto. Yeah, it has the largest Asian population in the United States. And even then, I can't make, I can only speak in general. You know what I'm saying? So when this lady made a comment about Muslims, I was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And you think people are giving you a thumbs down because somebody told them to? You mean somebody told another adult, hey, go thumbs her down? You did just because you seen people put that in the chat room. People know that you're watching and you're upset, so they say things to make you more upset. If somebody thumbs down your video, there's probably one or two things you said that they disagree with. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, okay. That video, I'm gonna have to find it again, but I have it. Just let me block my screen. Whoops. All right, let me. That's what you get for trying to have everything but the kitchen sink set up. Okay, I know what to do. What's up? Marquise in the building. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull that video up again because I was running too many things and it, oh shit, freaked the system out. So it should be at the top though of my list. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This ought to be good. Let me finish setting this up. Let's see here. Check two, check three, check four, check. All right. Wow, I had this all squared away, but it is what it is. Well, welcome anybody that's just walking in the building. It's all gravy. Today we were just freestyling it, you know what I'm saying? Now, here we go. This expert on the Islamic faith, and she's dead serious, and she's basing all of this on having a friend who there's no confirmation. You know, because every time she talks, there's always a friend or somebody imaginary that told her something or gave her something and stuff like that. Let me see what you're saying. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna stay out the chat now. uh, yeah. So listen to this expert on the Islamic faith, and she said this. I mean, every time she speaks, she sounds like a racist. You know, like when they say, "I am not racist. My son married a black woman." Okay, and I love my grandchild, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I know many black people. I am comfortable with them around me. Okay, so don't ever call me a racist. I've gave to the Negro College Fund. So yeah, just because um sometimes you can be a bigot by accident, and I never get mad at someone who's accidentally a bigot because they just don't know. And me being a black man, people always assume, like when I flew first class to England, the plane is so big it has two doors, and my feet were hurting because I've been walking around England all weekend, and I only flew out there for the weekend first class. They hand out CDs on the street, Leicester Square, and also to visit record stores and people. But anyway, it it was time to go back home, and they assumed that I was in coach, and we were late. And I said, "Where is this?" They said, "Oh, where are you sitting? What's your tickets?" I said, "We're in first class." So then he drove us up to first class, and it was full, and we had to ride business class, which was cool. That still wasn't bad at all. But I'm just saying, people assume, especially that's what's why it's so hard to do music, because when you're dealing with people in the clubs, and you want to do things with people, they think that you're gonna just be up there like Too Short. And I'm like, well, first of all, what makes you think I'm a rapper, and who, and what I know, and what I'm saying, like, you're not even gonna have what I need. In Germany, them, even if it's a hole in the wall, they got sound system and projectors and LCDs and lights. It could be a hole in the wall. It could be a cafe with a bomb shelter in the basement. In the basement, in the bomb shelter is the club. But out here, they will have projectors, and the manager don't even know how to use it. You see what I'm saying? And they will wonder why, they don't know how to use it. So we're just not going to use it tonight. What's the big deal? It's only a projector. Okay, sir, I know that you're trying to sell liquor and you don't give a fuck about the music, but we are a audio and visual group, and we bridge the gap between hip hop and electronic. We need to express ourselves fully, and if your sound system ain't good, we're not doing it. Anyway, let's listen to this expert on the Islamic faith. Look, this is a Sharon. Now, you've heard of Karens, and Karens can be difficult. Okay, they can be difficult because a lot of Karens had a boyfriend that was probably, did them wrong, and he might have been a athlete, like a brother in college that was an athlete that had a one night stand with him or something like that. But Sharons are worse than Karens. And here are the words of a Sharon. Okay? Here you go.
Muslim women do not wear weave. Muslim women are covered up. And Muslim women do not go get plastic surgery. Number one. Number two, Muslim women are not strippers. Muslim women are classy, sophisticated, elegant, very intelligent women. True Muslim women are seen but not heard. Yeah, I had a friend of mine that was a true Muslim when I was very young. And the only time she could wear regular clothes is when she was at home. So I'm gonna need you motherfuckers to go ahead on with that. I have known about the Muslim religion since one of my homegirls that I met was a Muslim. That girl could not wear regular clothes at all when she walked out that door. She had to be fully covered. And she was a beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. She could not have no boyfriend, nothing. So let me tell y'all a story about two Muslim girls that were killed by their fathers. Okay? So again, I'm not gonna go here. So that would be a lie. And no, he did not. So you can go ahead on with that. Let's carry on. Anyway, there was no video with the squad and him. Thank you very much. Y'all need to go ahead on. The lies y'all be telling. Anyway, Alijio said in the live with me that he watched me, you dumbass. See, before y'all run up the mouth, yes, he does. He watches everybody. And yes, Alijio did say he watched me when I talked to him on ZX1400's channel. Now shut the hell up. Now let's get into it. There was a young girl, she was Muslim, father was very strict. She was not allowed to have a boyfriend that was American. And most Muslim women are married off to older men, no differently than the African culture. So I'm going to teach you something. So now you're going to understand why these men that are African, black, and Muslims are attracted to younger girls. Let's get into this. All right. This one girl, she was killed by her father. Both of these situations, she was killed. Both situations, both girls were killed by their fathers. Let's get in America. Let's get into this. All right. The little girl um was in martial arts. That's the only time she couldn't wear her thing was when she was doing martial arts because you can't really move with that thing on you. So the only time Muslims can not have on that outfit is if they are in playing sports. That's the only time or they're in some type of whatever. But she met a boy, fell in love with the boy, was sneaking around with the boy, and daddy found out about it. And so daddy, the brother found out about it. She was supposed to marry a 30-year-old man. This girl was 16 years old. And she was supposed to be marrying a man that is 30 years old. No, yeah, he's 30. So it was an arranged marriage, which most true Muslims are, it's an arranged marriage. You don't choose who you marry. Okay? And I know this because of my homegirl. And her father was black, but let's get into it. And her mother was full Muslim. Okay. So the girl continued to see the boy. Well, daddy and the mama, well, who we thought was the mama, killed her and her sister. All because he was not going, because the fact that they went against him, she went against him. And so she ended up running the mama and her ended up leaving with her sister, left. She took her mama, the mother took the girls and left. Well, the father convinced them to come back, saying he would try to do better. Well, the two girls ended up dead. All because this little girl did not want to marry this 30-year-old man and fell in love with an American boy. Second situation was 4 girls that got killed, same scenario. Y'all don't understand. These fathers of these true Muslim religions will kill a little girl if she goes against his authority. And that's why when I look at Louis Farrakhan and all these people, I'm like, y'all are not practicing the Muslim religion the way you're supposed to. No, meaning she was from Saudi Arabia. Her mother, the mother was from Saudi Arabia. He met her when he was over there in Iraq. That's how he met his wife. So she's actually from Iraq. They used to go to Mecca and all. So unlike him, he wasn't a 10%er. He was a full-fledged like Kevin Gates, full-fledged Muslim. So that's that. So what I'm saying is, based on me knowing people that are true Muslims, absolutely not are you going to go and disrespect their daughters. Absolutely not. You absolutely not. It's not gonna happen like that. Mm-mm. It's not gonna happen like that at all. So that's what I'm saying. People think that I'm not that bright. You'll be amazed who I know. I know people that are true Muslims, that are 100% Muslims. Matter of fact, I was on another platform and I talked to a young man that is Muslim, and yeah, he confirmed everything that I said. So yeah, you cannot when the Muslim religion choose your husband. They choose your husband for you. So that's what they do. You have no say so when it comes to your husband. You absolutely do not. That's why when I sit here and I hear these men talking about they're married, nah, bruh, there is a ceremony that you supposed to do. And you don't do it in the United States, you do it in Mecca, actually. Because you have to go before you get married. I think Khadijah know a little bit more about this than I do. But you're supposed to you don't choose your husband. Your husband is chosen for you. So you don't choose your husband. And there is people of all races that are Muslim. But there are some people that choose to be 5%ers, meaning they take the religion and do with it as they choose. And there are people that really are serious about their religion. And there are a lot of people overseas that are really pissed off at this country at the way they disrespect the Muslim religion. They don't even consider a lot of Americans Muslims over there. If you look, matter of fact, go on. I wish I could get Kevin Gates on him. I really wish I could. I really wish I can get Kevin Gates on him. I'm trying to tell you, he really does go to Mecca. Anybody who's seen Kevin Gates, have you not listened to the way he speaks? They have their own language. How many black men do you see in this Muslim that speak that language? I wait. How many black men do you know speak that language? That speak the true the Muslim religion, as far as that language that they speak. You hear Kevin Gates speak it all the time. You see Kevin going to Mecca, Israel, all of that all the time. And you see the way his wife was dressed when she was over there. You seen the way Kevin's wife dresses when she goes over there. It's a language that they speak. I can't say it for nothing because I ain't even gonna try. I can't even say it if I'm. Let me find Kevin's channel. I'm gonna let y'all hear it. I'm not gonna show it to you, but I'm gonna let you hear something that he did right quick. Hold on one second. Bear with me a minute. I'm trying to find. Let me go to Kevin's channel and see if I can hear him speak it. Because I've heard him speak it before. I just can't. I can't. I can't even pronounce half the stuff that he be saying. Hold on. I'm trying to find where he actually is speaking the language. Bear with me 1 minute. I'm trying to find the right channel. People got so many channels of his that I don't even know which one. I think it's I am Kevin Gates. I don't know if he's changed his channel or not. Hold on. I am. I'm trying.
Hello, 1 2 what 2? Yeah, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? That's all I got to say. Huh? It's crazy. She got all kind of Muslim face all mixed up together. Yeah, Morocco is nice. I saw Kevin in Egypt, and I saw him in Morocco. I didn't see him in Saudi Arabia, Mecca, but I'm sure he went there. But when it comes to tattoos and stuff like that, they don't play that. Um, I'm a fan of the Orthodox faith of Islam. My friends, my good friend who I do music with, who I've done music with for over a decade, his wife. Well, here. This is interesting. He's second generation American Muslim, and his wife converted, and she's a professor at a university on the East Coast, and she even wrote a book on female Muslims and what they're dealing with and their issues and stuff like that. And it's just funny because, you know, it's funny how people don't have a clue about that faith. You see what I'm saying? And my biggest fear is to speak on something I don't know. And now she said she had a friend, and she's not even letting us know if they are like the FOI or NOI or or they like Orthodox, if they Sikh or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or are they part of one of those little cult groups, the little small groups, I do know the Nation of Islam type of Islam is a little different, you know what I'm saying? But it's very similar. And today you can't tell the difference between that and a Baptist church. It seemed like Farrakhan preaches out of two Bibles because he's always quoting the Christian Bible, and he's an expert at Jehovah Witness faith, as well as he know his Bible as well as the Quran. The only difference is that they feel that this man was, a prophet, but that's their prerogative, that's their business. But my worst fear is to sound ignorant on TV, on the radio, on the internet. I've done many interviews with radio stations and magazines where they had to convert my words into English, where you hear me say a couple of words and then they fade my voice down, and then there's another person who try to have the same tone of voice as me but speaking in their language. It's amazing. If that ever happens to you, it's an amazing feeling. You get woke up 8 a.m. and you're on a station in some other country and they pre-record it. But anyway, she don't know that she's being offensive. She has offended. I'm going to play another clip later of how she offended people in South America. She offended people in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Observer Stuff? People will speak stuff they don't know, and then to justify what they say, they'll say, my friend is so-and-so, and my friend told me. My friend works at a morgue. My friend works in emergency. My friend's a nurse. My friend's, you know what I'm saying? First of all, you left out a whole bunch of dynamics. Your friend could be just as dumb as you. Birds of a feather flock together. Your friend could be I cannot imagine an intelligent person that can spend 5 minutes in a conversation with her. It ain't that much. Now, Fundi is the only one that I saw, and I think she was challenging herself. She's the only one I saw that showed her patience beyond human belief. You know what I'm saying? And what's up to James Jones and everybody in the building? I went out earlier today and did some filming, and with my drone, I even lost it and recovered it. Like, it didn't hit the ground, but it was still in the air. I couldn't find it. But yeah, it was crazy. Let me show you that clip one time right quick. Wasn't that beautiful? That was beautiful. Bobby Blues in the building. What's up, Bobby Blues? She couldn't even tell you the name of the clothing. She couldn't tell you the name, the language that the Quran was written in. And you know, I used to have very tiny stereotypes because, you know, like I said, I have friends. I had a friend who wrote a book on the faith. I had business partners that were Muslim, but I still won't assume that they represent billions of people. We talking about the fastest growing faith in the world and the only religion that have the largest amount of young people in their 20s in the world. You know? Now, I've heard another uh, person on YouTube that spoke on the Islamic faith, and he seems to be on point. He knew a lot about it, but there are different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to. Now, there's a lot of assumption. Even there are stereotypes between Muslims of each other because when a Muslim come here, see, just because you're born in a country where they don't separate church from state, and the country is predominantly one faith, um, it doesn't mean that you're Muslim. You just live in a nation where Islam is the number one dominant faith, right? But that doesn't mean that you're a practicing Muslim, and you shouldn't assume that that person is Muslim just because they came from a certain country. So when they come here to the mosque to join the mosque here in America, sometimes they move up the ranks very quickly because they go, well, he's from overseas. He's from the motherland. He's from, so this is his language. So we can't let him be just like anybody else at the mosque. But come to find out that he's not that devout. He can't quote verse. You know, some of the people are not that devout. They can't quote verse by verse. And you find out that some of the American Orthodox Muslims are more devout than the people that was actually born in the areas where you would assume that they would be the most faithful. You know, just because you was born in Jerusalem don't make you the best Christian. You're no more Christian than somebody was born in Guam. It's just that you was born closer. You know, you was born in Bethlehem. That don't mean you know the Bible backwards and forwards. There's 129 Bibles. There's over 3,000 denominations. The only reason half the black population is not Muslim is because it's too much work and too much discipline, and it requires too much physical ability to practice the faith. And they don't have food when church is over. They don't got, you know, fried chicken and all that stuff, you know, after church. But anyway, let me see. Hey, Madiva in the building. Yeah, she thinks Muslims is an ethnicity. She thinks she don't even know what the six main beliefs are of a Muslim. Okay, now I walk around with a Muslim scarf that's red and black. There's a black and white one. Well, mine is red and white. There's a green and white one. My scarf is from Saudi Arabia, from a friend who went to Mecca. I got many friends that went to Mecca. Some people go to Mecca dead or alive. They already have it paid for. If they can't make it while alive, their body will may go. If they can afford it, their body will pass through Mecca before it's buried. back here in the United States. That's how devout some people are. And it's very, you have to be not physically fit, but it keeps you healthy. It's a religion that keeps you healthy because you fast, and also when you pray several times a day, it's like a exercise. It's almost like yoga, and you can't have a problem with that. So but as far as wearing the hijab, I on the news where you see the terrorists and all that stuff, you see a lot of poor Muslims, but me personally, I never met a poor Muslim. Every Muslim I met had money. And when I was in England, they were driving 12-cylinder, 4-door bulletproof Mercedes with big ass diamond rings. I met a black lady from Mali who had on stiletto heels. Everything. If you don't think she got on Victoria's Secret underneath that, and if you don't think when you open the outfit that is their dresses, their hijabs are dresses, and they're inside out. So when you open them up, they're very beautiful and very colorful. All kind of beautiful and colorful patterns. They may be black on the outside, but on the inside, it's very beautiful. And everybody, this new generation, they don't wear the hijab unless they want to. And one Muslim guy, he got a relaxer and shaved his beard off. And I said, won't your Muslim friends tease you and be upset with you for shaving? Because if you do that in Istanbul, it's a death sentence. Shave your beard as a kid, you get beat up. As an adult, it's over. It's a wrap. Plus, you'll look like a sissy in Istanbul without a beard. But they're very nice people, because places like Istanbul will have the biggest blues festival. America don't have shit for the arts. I just mentioned France earlier. Istanbul put out black artists in their music. They sign people. If y'all didn't know, Jive Records is from South Africa. I know you probably think Jive Records, Too Short, E40, I think they put out Tribe Called Quest, and all these people. Jive Records is from South Africa, and their studios were in England. They put out Houdini. So I get tired of people getting upset with me because I'm always mentioning overseas. But I have to mention overseas because of many factors. Gasoline came from Germany. The freeway came from Germany. Rocket fuel came from Germany. The recording studio came from France. Samplers came from England. What you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? Europe is closer to Africa. So the African influence is going to be greater there. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what you're saying. The Muslims I used to work with smoked a lot of tobacco. Well, now in Dearborn, Michigan, when you arrive at the airport in Detroit, you think you in another country, because Dearborn, Michigan has the largest Muslims, and it's a different sect than the one that's on the West Coast. The one that Malcolm X became a part of after he realized that Muslims came in other nationalities and skin color and eye color. Matter of fact, in case you didn't know, Asians make up the largest amount of Muslims in the world. And now they're printing the Quran in Spanish when usually they do not print the Quran in any other language. But in America, they are printing the Quran in Spanish because Spanish people are converting to Islam by large numbers. Okay? You can go to the ghetto liquor store and buy a Quran in Spanish. Let me see here. Now, first of all, Muslims have 6 main beliefs. They believe in Allah as the one and only God. They believe in angels. They believe in the holy books, and they believe in the prophet Adam, Abraham, Musa, Duad, or David, and Isa, Jesus. Now, yeah, they do not deny Jesus. They do not deny most prophets. And let me tell you something else. A large chunk. I'm no expert. That's why I'm not going to speak too much on it. But I like to mention things that are not well known. A large chunk of the Quran is dedicated to Jesus' mother. Okay, I believe in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, and I believe that the Quran is the book that is the next generation book. You know what I'm saying? I believe that we can learn from Judaism. We can learn from Christianity, and we can learn from Islam. And in the holiest land in the world, where the 3 great religions coexist, if you walk into any temple, of course they have different names for their temples, but if you walk into any of the 3 great religious temples, one prayer inside that temple in the center of all the great faiths is worth 500 prayers. Okay? So let me see here. Yeah, Asians make up the majority of Muslims, and when that plane from Malaysia disappeared, the people on that plane had Asians' first names and Muslim last names. Okay? And, there was a Christian crusade. The Spanish went everywhere, and that's why wherever you go in the Asian countries, they're either going to be Muslim or Christian. Of course, you have people who have groups like they're Buddhists and stuff like that, but those people have been so persecuted and murdered and attacked that their numbers are small. But if someone from the Philippines come to America, most likely they're going to have a Christian first name and a Hispanic last name. But if you go deep into the Filipino jungle, away from civilization, you will find dark-skinned Filipinos with kinky hair that are Muslim. See what I'm saying? I'm just looking at the chat. Ethiopia is very significant, and I'm so glad that my audience is so intellectual. I don't have the patience anymore for all the other stuff. I just don't have the patience. LJ said stuff wrong, stuff like telling Nature Boy to read John 8:44 and apply it to his life, as this scripture will help him understand her crazy rhetoric. Funny thing is, she says it says Jews are Satan's kids. Now, you see how easy ignorance can do you see how ignorance can be dangerous? Because you should feel lucky that you live in America, where they have more patience for ignorance. You know what I'm saying? You should feel lucky. Um, you know, you if you showed up in India with a leather coat, you showed up at the airport in India with a leather coat on and a leather Gucci belt with some Gucci shoes and a little leather on your keychain and see what happened. Okay, see what happens. Now, Muhammad fled to Ethiopia for safety from persecution. Let me tell you, Ethiopia, Axum is Bethlehem 2.0. It's Bethlehem 2.0. It's something magical about Ethiopia. Even in the movie Troy, the king asked advice from the gods, and they wanted to know if they wanted help in winning a war, and the gods that they were asking for help looked Ethiopian. If you see the Netflix version of Troy, not the Hollywood version of Troy, it was so on point. It was so on point. Now, or something that affects something to that effect. The issue is she don't know the book of John nor the Bible, other than the Bible stories told through movies. They played during Easter. She is very lost. Yes, and Ethiopia has a lot of sacred shrines to Muhammad, original followers that are being destroyed like a few weeks ago. I could believe that. But you know, when Bethlehem was under attack by the Muslims, because you could stand at the church, you know, they built the church where Christ was born. You could stand there and throw a rock across the street, and you would hit a mosque. It's a Muslim mosque right across the street. Okay. But there was a visit. I think it was Sheba and another person. They was visiting Jerusalem, and they saw it was being under attack, and they rushed. The brother rushed back to Ethiopia to Axum, and he built one or three temples in the mountains, and he didn't have no crane. They don't know how he did it. They don't know who did it. They don't even have support beams. It's all made out of stone. And every year people go there for Christmas, and some people they're nomadic, so they start out 3 months in advance to get there by Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to sound like Latanya, but my ex-girlfriend from a long time ago was from Ethiopia. And my wife great grandfather was Ethiopian too, so I know what I'm talking about. Plus my Ethiopian friends told me. Plus, I can write my name in Amharic. Okay, even though they got 5 alphabets, I can write my name in one of the alphabets. And did you know that Ethiopians invented sheet music? All right. So when they say you trying to be white when you were writing classical music or whatever, Ethiopians invented notational music, and there is sheet music going back to the 1400s of black composers writing classical music. You see what I'm saying? They say that angels helped them build it, and it's called Lalabia, and I might not be pronouncing that right, but I know exactly where because some of it needed to be restored, and the dilemma was that every grain of that building, every speck of dust is holy. So when they were doing repairs, they had to collect every dust particle, any grain of it that may have fell from the operation. They have to collect in a bag. Every speck of that building is holy. and but the whole Christian Muslim drama that displayed out right before Haile Selassie was crowned with I can't pronounce that word, was very interesting. Well, what I think also is oh, you spelled it wrong. But what I also think is interesting is that Haile Selassie was worshipped by a whole group of people in Jamaica. And one day they had experienced a drought for probably 40 days. And Selassie went to go visit Jamaica. And when he stepped out the plane, it started to rain, and it rained for a long time. And they thought that was a miracle. And he didn't know that they worshiped him. When he came out, they cheered. They were very joyful to see him, and it scared him. And he went back into the plane until they explained to him that they worship him. And I'm not familiar with the details of his bloodline and all of that stuff, but because of his bloodline and his history. Damn, nobody up for the. Oh, right on, Diva. Divalicious is in the building. Let's see here. I appreciate that, Diva. And you know, they try to make it out that Muslims are angry and attackers and stuff like that. But everything about their faith gives honor to God. Every word, the words, the name, what Islam means, the definition of the word, everything about it is, you know what I'm saying? That's why I gave my son a middle name that could be, his middle name can be Jewish, Christian, or Muslim, because it's a name of one of Abraham's children. It's the name of his child that he had with his Egyptian maid. So for you that know that, you'll be like, oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I don't really put the PayPal out too much because I'm paranoid about the PayPal. You know what I'm saying? But I do have the Cash App up there. I'm trying to cut this. I'm trying to switch screens, but there's something on the screen I'm trying to cut off. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, because of the nature of the sector and how it's still in its infancy stage and it still have some maturing to do, I reserve my PayPal link and only put the Cash App, and sometimes I put the Bitcoin QR code on the screen. So my bag on that. But I've been filming lately, and earlier you saw the drone footage. That's just a fraction of what I captured. It was such a clear, beautiful day for filming with the drone. I couldn't pass that up. So now we back into the theater, and you know, I did some vlogging, so I just want to drop some of the stuff from the theater on you right quick. This is It's just three quick clips. Okay. So let it roll. It's Lordship. Shot, but U.S. Marine. Hopefully I'm wrong. But anyway, yeah, it's important to, if you're worried about the police and you're scared of the police and you think they're out to get you, then you should monitor them. It's your legal right to monitor their conversations and their calls. It's your right as a citizen. Their radio calls have to be public by law. Now, if they want to, they could switch to a secret channel. They could switch to a side channel. But legally, there's always got to be one channel open to the public. And that goes for everything. That goes for radio, cable. They always got to leave one channel for the public. If your commercial station doesn't play your music, you're a local artist, well, complain to the FCC, because they do have to allow the public to have at least 3 hours or more of radio time, mandatory by law. So you can make an arrangements with the station to give you your own show on one of their slow nights, like a Sunday night. They got, you can force their hand to give you your own show. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, if you got a cable network, they got to give you a channel. They got to give you some airtime on a channel designated to the public. That's all I'm saying. That, while you watching World Star and YouTube and all that stuff and Facebook and Instagram, have that good old police scanner on too in the background, so you know what's going on around you at all times, because that's your right as a citizen, and that's why we have rules and laws, and that's why we have the FCC, and yeah, people are exercising around me, and as a citizen, I think you should exercise your right, so anyway. What's up? It's your boy. You know where the music is coming from? Right here. That's where the music coming from. Anyway, I got a sticky move. That's the Scottish Rite temple behind me. Beautiful piece of architecture. You know I'm all about architecture and environment. Just wanted to share that with you. You know what I'm saying? Let me get back out there in the field. Come roll with me for a second. All right, we back in the building. Right on. Yeah, that was from last night's ride, and then from earlier today, I did this. Yeah, I have longer versions of those clips I'm gonna use in, I guess, in future videos or backdrops. Um, but yeah, it's been crazy. It is what it is. But I appreciate people showing up and showing out, and I'll be making a couple of videos with some of the footage I shot, some of the drone footage I shot today and stuff like that. Do some narrating, I guess, over the top. But I'm lucky that where I'm at is just a backdrop sanctuary. You can just drive, pull over anywhere, and just fall to the ground while shooting pictures, and it's just gonna come out interesting because it's a backdrop mecca. I mean, they shoot 168 films a year, around here. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I went live at a crazy hour. I went live at a crazy hour. I know that. But I got a new setup. Somebody was working with me to get my camera to work right, and I was trying to lower the latency, and I was able to do that. So if you catch the beginning, you see me doing some beat surfing, and the delay on the camera is not that bad. I actually paid for software allowing me to use the camera with less latency, and I asked the guy for my money back because I said it didn't work, but instead of giving me my money back, he kept working with me and emailing me, and then it started working, which was amazing. So you gotta have patience. So I want to share some music with you guys. I see Diva put up the $5 challenge, which is very nice, and I appreciate that. Very generous. And so in honor of that, instead of signing off right away, I'm gonna play about 4 or 5 tracks from my animated record player that I built. So these are my remixes, and I ain't worried about copyright restrictions. And these are exclusive mixes that you can only hear here.
stumbling in blind rage out past the box trapper's swollen lips. While you lingered for the finger, lending different strokes and different jumps in her body, bending between legs, delicate and desperate. Wet it with your tongue, talk to it like it were a child, and all the time it were dead. Kissed it, pounded your body into planted seeds, and all the time it were dead. Two black dreams lying on better space, fucking dreams. Tell me, brother, how did you feel when you came out the wilderness? Looked around and saw your woman laid up, strapped.
Where black women can bathe, naked and unashamed in gentle streams. A world where poetry is you, black woman, bathing in gentle rhythmic waves. I will create, until I create that world for you, black woman.
I gotta go to bed. I just realized what time it is, and so I'm gonna play one more track and I'm out. So I appreciate everybody showing up and showing out. We'll do this again real soon, maybe even tomorrow late night. But it's only one of me, and I got a lot of work to do for other people who have channels. So I'm trying to balance between the two. So I'm just gonna randomly pick another track, and it's cool because I did this animation so I could make it sound like records are playing, and if you listen really close you can hear the needle being put on the record before my tracks start.
Takes it out into the street, black children, thousands of black children, moving in time with magical black street sound, magical Harlem sound, moving, magical moving sound.
Lock it down, cause we doing it live. Plus we got more in deck than the Enterprise. And if I lay right there in between your thighs, you would see another episode of Deep Space Nine. Text message me on the video screen. Get that miss on the wireless. Never had to buy it, then please. Satellite system, CRV. We can fold up, remove the two backseat. Just pass me your Dixie cup. I got the chemistry to fix it up. Come on, slide with us on tour or the studio. Ride.